The moment a manipulative person realizes your spirit is unbreakable, they pivot to a final, desperate psychological gambit. Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, uncovered a disturbing reality regarding the narcissistic shadow. When these individuals grasp that their dominion over you has vanished, they don't simply exit your life. Instead, they execute a calculated emotional ambush designed to dismantle months of personal growth in mere days. If you fail to identify this maneuver, you risk falling back into a cycle of mental imprisonment. However, before revealing this specific deception, we must dissect the underlying mental combat that precipitates it. Jung argued that the primary terror for a narcissist isn't being lonely or forgotten. It is the terrifying instant when their target achieves a higher level of psychological maturity than they possess. According to Jung's theories on the shadow, these personalities project their internal flaws onto others to preserve a false sense of majesty. The shadow represents the hidden, rejected parts of ourselves, the traits we find too painful or shameful to acknowledge. While a healthy person works to integrate their shadow, the narcissist externalizes it. They cast their own weakness, their own cowardice, and their own shame onto you. But when you begin the healing journey, establishing firm boundaries and ignoring their provocations, a seismic shift occurs within their internal world. Jung identified this as the hierarchy inversion trauma. For the narcissist, the world is a vertical ladder. They are either above you or below you. Equality is a foreign concept. When you rise, they feel as though they are physically sinking, and the panic that ensues is what drives their most erratic behavior. What follows next is deeply unsettling. Understand that these predators aren't seeking genuine connection. They are pursuing subordinates, vessels they can drain for vitality. Carl Jung noted that such people function from a state of ego inflation, a mental condition where they must perpetually assert authority to avoid the hollow vacuum of their own souls. This inflation is like a balloon that requires constant breath from the outside world to stay upright. While you were vulnerable, uncertain, or begging for their validation, you fulfilled a specific function. You were their source of psychic fuel, a mirror for their grandiosity. Yet, the second you start occupying your own space, the second you stop chasing their praise and begin honoring your own intuition, you transform into a threat to their entire reality. You are no longer a mirror, you are a spotlight, reflecting their emptiness back at them. That is when they unsheath the psychological blade Jung warned us about. A narcissist fears your light because it exposes their internal darkness. According to Jungian thought, they will initiate a campaign of projective hostility. When they feel the tether snapping, they move beyond simple gaslighting. They launch a terminal strike against your path toward individuation. Individuation is the process by which a person becomes their true, unique self, separate from the expectations of others and the demands of the ego. To a narcissist, your individuation is an act of war. It is a declaration that you belong to yourself, which means you can no longer be owned by them. Let's examine how this looks and why it is so toxic. They begin by attacking the very resilience you've built. Remember how they mocked your flaws? Now, they invert that strategy. Jung suggested this happens because they see your inner strength as the final barrier to their total influence. You would hear phrases like, "You've turned into someone unrecognizable. You used to be compassionate, but now you're heartless. This success has made you arrogant. You think you're above us now." Atomer's vices. But here is the observation by Jung that will chill your soul. These aren't just random insults. Based on Jung's profile of the narcissistic ego, they are precision targeting the specific areas of your life where you have done the most healing. If you have mastered boundaries, they label you as frigid. If you have reclaimed your voice, they call you hostile. If you have cultivated self-worth, they deem you conceited. Jung termed this the shaming of virtue, intended to make you feel guilty for the traits that actually liberated you. This is a form of psychic cannibalism. They try to consume your progress to feed their own stunted development. Yet, the ultimate trick is still lurking. Jung found that when shaming fails, they switch to a tactic of artificial nostalgia. They start mourning the old you. the version that was easier to manipulate. I miss how we used to be. You were much more joyful before you got into all this psychology. We were so happy before you changed. Jung viewed this as a form of psychic time travel intended to pull you back into toxic loops. They don't miss your essence, they miss your compliance. They miss the version of you that didn't have the language to name their abuse. If you aren't vigilant, you might start mourning that diminished version of yourself too. You might mistake their longing for love. It is not love. It is the lament of a puppeteer who has lost his favorite marionette. But here is where the research takes a darker turn. When both shaming and nostalgia fall flat, they reveal their most lethal tool, manufactured fragility. Jung observed that these individuals are experts at identifying your empathy and turning it into a trap. They will suddenly appear broken, ill, or in crisis exactly when you are at your peak. This is the dirty trick Jung warned of, and it is far more calculating than it seems. They will invent an emergency. It could be a medical scare, a financial collapse, or family chaos, timed perfectly to interrupt your moment of triumph. Jung believed this wasn't accidental. It is strategic. It is strategic. He discovered that they keep a mental inventory of your guilt triggers and your caretaking reflexes. They weaponize your kindness against your progress. This next realization will make you re-evaluate every interaction you've had with them. Jung stated that they often cultivate the very disasters they ask you to fix. This is what modern psychology calls narcissistic collapse. When the false ego can no longer maintain its superior facade, it pivots to the victim role. By becoming the ultimate victim, they maintain center stage. They will ruin their own stability just to force you back into the role of the savior. This accomplishes two things. It reinstates you as their servant and proves they still dictate your actions. If they can make you drop everything, your work, your peace, your new relationship, to attend to their crisis, they have won. They have proven that they are still the sun around which your life orbits. Jung noted something even more sinister. They don't just want assistance. They want you to betray your values to provide it. They will specifically ask you to break the rules you worked hardest to set. I know you need space, but this is an emergency. I know you don't do favors anymore, but just this once. Every just once is a hammer strike against your mental walls. They aren't asking for help. They are asking for proof that they matter more than your sanity. If you yield, Jung warned, you forfeit your autonomy. The most terrifying part of this fabricated weakness is that it looks authentic. The crisis might be real, but Jung realized they choose to bring it to you specifically to test your boundaries. They have other options, but they choose you because you are the most likely to sacrifice yourself. They are banking on your anima or animus energy, your deep-seated drive to nurture or protect, to override your rational mind. So, how do you defend against this? Jung suggested the concept of detached empathy. You can acknowledge someone's pain without feeling obligated to carry it. This is the hallmark of a truly individuated person. You recognize that their life is their responsibility, and your life is yours. Jung famously said that the greatest privilege is becoming your true self. When they try to pull you back, ask, does helping them serve my journey, or does it sabotage my soul? If the help they require requires you to shrink, it is not help, it is a sacrifice. And Jung was very clear, you should never sacrifice the soul for the sake of an ego, especially someone else's ego. This final insight will transform your perspective. Jung realized they fear your strength because it represents the growth they were too cowardly to pursue. Instead, they see in you the potential they abandoned in favor of control. Every boundary you hold is a reminder to them of their own lack of self-discipline. Every no you utter is a mirror reflecting their own inability to be authentic. When you refuse to shrink, you aren't just protecting yourself. You are showing them the power of authenticity over manipulation. That is why they fight so hard to break you. They are fighting for the survival of their illusions. But remember what Jung taught. Every time you hold your ground against a fake crisis, you prove their power was always a lie. True power isn't being unshakable. It's recognizing the trap and choosing yourself anyway. Their desperation is the ultimate evidence of your victory. The louder the tantrum, the more effective your boundaries are. The deeper the crisis, the more they realize you are slipping through their fingers. The trick only works if you forget your worth. Once you see the strings, the puppet show is over. You realize their need to control you is the loudest declaration of your freedom. They wouldn't be trying so hard to cage you if you weren't already flying. Jung believed the moment you become unmanageable is the day you truly start to live. It is the moment the ego dies and the self is born. Don't trade that life for a manufactured emergency. Don't go back into the cave because someone is screaming that they are afraid of the dark. They have the same capacity to walk into the light as you did. They simply choose the cave because it's where they can remain the master of shadows. Stay in the light. Keep your boundaries. Your strength is not an insult to them. It is a testament to your own resilience. Your growth is not a betrayal of the past. It is a commitment to your future. Thank you for walking this path with us at Winds of Thought. If this exploration of Jungian psychology and the narcissistic shadow resonated with you, please like the video and join our community. Your presence here is a sign of your commitment to your own individuation. What boundary will you hold today? Remember, the world does not need more people who are nice at the expense of their souls. It needs people who are whole. Stay strong, stay authentic, and stay free.